What's up, guys? Welcome to Daily Dose of Reddit. This is your host, Zach, and today's subreddit is r/StoriesAboutKevin. Alright, this story's called, "My family is so estranged, they must be on another level of intelligence." Reposted because I accidentally submitted. I believe that my extended family can be so stupid that they must be smarter than me. I don't mean stupid in a bad, demeaning way, but out of sheer frustration and amusement. Like, you can't help but laugh at the silly antics. One half of my family is the lovable kind of Kevin syndrome, the one that makes you question their actions and the legitimacy of their words. My grandmother, great uncle, and great aunts are the main offenders here. They are all siblings, and talking to them feels like a kid in a D&D group pretending to be an old person. They are old per se, but almost like the stereotypes are somewhat there, but with a mix of whimsical, youthful energy. I have never been a strong believer in magic, spirits, or the psychic arts, but they are intriguing and some interesting to me. It is my grandmother and her siblings that make me feel the countryside they grew up in is like an enchanted forest. Grammy Kavina and the rest all grew up in a house that is owned by one of my great aunts to this day. It's a 2-story white home that looks exactly like the house in the countryside in every horror movie. This is important information, like a plantation style house. Now, my grandma is convinced ghosts have lived in the house for years. Even as a kid, I never really cared for that. But recently, she told me of a Native American man named Joe who murdered his brother on the hill across the road and all that.
Joe's not a good man. He's fine in the house, but he's always trying to pull pranks on me. I saw him turn on the faucet once. I swear he was having the time of his life with that faucet. They probably got their water from a well, so that's why Joe is so happy. He really likes batteries too.
Do you think he's draining the batteries for power?
No, Joe wouldn't do that. Besides, I think they're just interested in electricity since they never had any. They like to flicker the lights all the time, but you just gotta remind them that you're the one in charge. They aren't paying no rent. They don't live here.
I've never seen Joe, but they all have. Great Aunt Kavina said the exact same thing, to remind them ghosts that they don't have the power in the household. My great uncle must have scared them real good because back when he lived in the house, they never did anything when he visited. Now that another aunt and her husband have the house and they live in another town, the ghosts have free reign. My sister saw a dress in the upstairs window that wasn't there beforehand. Grandma's answer? Joe in drag. I've only seen Fedora Man, who is a guy in a coat and wearing a fedora. I saw his face in the window as a little kid playing upstairs in one of the bedrooms with my cousin. He's been a prevalent figure because one time a drinking buddy of Uncle Kevin was standing behind him all dressed up for Halloween, and he yelled at him not to bother his TV time and to sulk back upstairs like the dirty ghost he was. Grandma believes that Fedora Man wanted children as a kid, and Joe is angry about that, and so that's why he only appears to children. My aunt saw 2 leprechauns once. Grandma took her to the eye doctor the next day. They were dancing on her bed and making a little mockery of her. She told me once that,
"If you want to catch those pesky leprechauns, you gotta laugh them with those Lucky Charms because they really like those, and afterwards, you trap them in a box and steal their gold."
Grandma believes the leprechauns caused Modellovirus. She said they caused it because that's what we get for leaving our suitcases open in Ireland. So they sneak in and decide to give people Modellovirus and bad luck. She also thinks Jay-Z is a time traveler, but I think that's just J.A. Come on, that was bad. When I was young, my grandma told me that California was going to be completely submerged by 2012, and I cried over it for many hours because my dad grew up there and I didn't want his old friends to die. She also said that Atlantis is out here somewhere, but we can't find it anymore for reasons I can't remember. My Uncle Kevin got bad back cancer, and my aunt reacted by throwing out all of his clothes and cleaning up the house, in pain and also riddance. He makes a miraculous recovery, but he almost got kicked out of the nursing home twice for apparently having 6 girlfriends and bugging the nurses. Grandma told me if you ever get pulled over for having weed on you, just tell the officer it's licensed for your guinea pig and endorse the consumption of weed for my sister's rodent. Apparently they will let you go if you do this. Really? Let's try it out. She also has claimed her cousins are just sweet, troubled boys, even though they set someone's car on fire while they were still in it sleeping because the man was late to pay them for drugs. Grandma had this cat that was so insane, so psychotic, that it would have been more famous than Grumpy Cat if it were born at the beginning of Y2K. It was brought to the vet once as a kitten for its shots, and the vet said to never bring it back. It was chasing the adult dogs around, biting and clawing. I love it. Grandma and my Aunt Kevin believe that the cat was a reincarnation of their brother, angry at the world for casting him in a feline body, which could be true. He behaved like a human, ate from plates, favorite food was chocolate and croissants, and he never died from poisoning. That is the only story I can confirm is true. The cat was so insane that one time on a visit to my dad's friend who met the cat once, I had this realistic Halloween toy of a growling cat in the car, and he jumped because he thought the cat was with us. The cat is a Kevin all by itself. Blood was shed by that cat. It was lonely, but it hated people. Grandma buried the cat in the backyard of the house in the blueberry garden, and I bet it's waiting for its moment to return. Lastly, now that the ghosts in the house are rampant again, and my other aunt and her husband live there occasionally, the family lies to the husband about the supernatural sounds like whales, thumping, and scratching. It's just a bug sapper. They believe he's too frail to know the truth. I think because I'm a city dweller, I don't understand what most of this means. I hope you enjoyed my family escapades. I don't know if they are considered true Kevins for their lack of annoyance and anger, but they are a rare breed of Kevin in my eyes. My paternal aunt, on the other hand, wow, those guys are interesting. I mean, definitely some people that I would love to spend time with, because while a lot of the information they might give you seems kind of weird, they do have a weird understanding of the world, kind of. I don't know how to explain what I'm saying. If you get what I'm saying, you get it. If you don't, then, well, just meet people like that and you'll see what I mean. Alright, this story's called Trying to Teach Windows to a Kavina. I was in my 20s, and this was in the age when Windows 98 was a new thing. As a background, I explain how my job at the time worked. Disclaimer, English is not my first language, etc. We were instructors that will train office workers from the most basic software, Windows Excel, PowerPoint, Word, etc. There were senior instructors that would train on AutoCAD, Photoshop, Visual Basic, etc. We would get paid commission for each person in our group. Groups were usually from 5 to 10 people, but there was a more attractive tier that would be solo courses, because those will pay the commission of a group of 10, and you don't have to work as much, of course. Most of the time, the people who had seniority would get those, and as a newbie, you'd be lucky if you get one on occasion, since those courses were reserved for CEOs, their secretaries, meaning the top of whatever company was hiring us that month. So I see that I'm booked for a solo course for Windows. The information I'm given is that it was for the personal assistant of the CEO of a company, so it's a very important person. I can't deny I was happy, but see that it is for Windows, and they asked for me because I had a reputation for being patient. This was rare because we basic drones, we rarely get anything like this. So Monday comes in and the woman who was taking the course shows up. I'm not gonna lie, I felt intimidated. She was about 6 feet tall, I'm 5'2", long blonde curly hair, blue-eyed woman that looked more like a model than a secretary. I wonder how she got the job. I'm kidding. She was around my age, early 20s. Okay, now I'm not kidding. She was around my age, early 20s. Knowing that a lot of single dudes that have seniority over me passed on the chance of having a week training her seemed weird. Also, some of those same dudes were just casually lurking, listening to my class. I thought at the time it was for quality control or maybe creeping out on the gorgeous girl. The door of our classrooms has a panel of clear glass that lets anyone check on any class. I started the training explaining the basics on how to use the mouse to open a window, starting for what a window was, how to move it around, what was the desktop on the computer, what the X was for, etc. Most of it went smoothly, or I thought so. I made her open several windows so she could see files. Then I say, okay, I see that you have no problem using the mouse, so please close all the windows we have open. Then I turned around and start to erase my whiteboard. When I was done, I see her on the other side of the classroom checking on the physical windows of the room. Hey, Miss Kavina, what are you doing?
What you told me, but I don't get it.
Sorry, what?
You said to close the windows, yes?
Yes?
Well, the windows are not the kind you can open and close. And what does that have to do with computers? Do they overheat if we don't open?
Looking at the door, seeing now two of the seniors with a huge grin on their faces, one of them went away to laugh his butt off. Miss Kavina, I'm sorry, I meant the one on the computer.
The computer has windows? Where?
I'm dying inside while smiling, starting the training again. No problem. Come to your computer and I'll explain it.
Oh, no wonder the other teacher said you'll be the one to help me. Thank you. It is my third time taking this class. Honestly, I think computers are stupid.
I repeated that class during the next 3 days until she finally got it, that a window is a small screen inside the big screen, and that was the best I could hope for. She also disconnected the mouse a bunch of times because the cord was not long enough, and then wondered why we had to restart just because she disconnected the mouse. So in an effort to not go crazy, I told her how to move with the keyboard.
Now we are talking about, if I learn this, I can be a hacker like you.
I'm not a hacker.
Nonsense. Your secret's safe with me.
Well, on page 22 of your manual, you can find all the shortcuts for the keyboard.
No way. That's what those are for? But, I don't understand it. I'll bring my notepad tomorrow and you'll help me to write this down.
That was the last day of the week course for Windows. She was writing down what Control plus C does, even though she had a manual that had pictures of the keys and an explanation of what they do. The things we usually see the second day. Her boss showed up to say hi to me and ask how all is going.
Boss, you're not gonna believe it, but she is so awesome. She is turning me into a hacker now. I can do anything with the thingy.
Well, we are not doing any hacking, sir. Just the basic
Oopsie. Yes, boss. Just training.
While she winked at me. I refused to take solo training for a month. Some poor sap got her to train for Word. She keeps losing everything she typed all the time because she keeps pressing Alt F4, as my Windows teacher told me. Other things she did. She would not park in the parking lot of our building because the entrance was too confusing. But one day she parked on said entrance and her car almost got towed. She parked near the entrance but left the keys in the car so she would not lose them. One of the guards noticed it and gave the keys to our receptionist. She left her bag with all her personal items in the reception because it would be easier to pick up later and she'll be returning every day. She'll go to interrupt my current class because she was bored with her new instructor. She sat down when she saw we were doing formulas in Excel. She said,
I knew it! Is this the advanced hacking class? Is this even legal?
She went to eat at a restaurant near our building, and then one of her coworkers was called out of my class because she did not have money and could not pay since her bag was still in the reception. By the way, we did not have storage or anything that would say that you could leave stuff in that desk. The guy said, of course, it's her. Then he left. When he returned, he said she does things like that at work too. Oh my gosh. She sounds so sweet though. Like a ditzy little blonde, or ditzy big blonde lady, or tall blonde lady. You know what I'm saying. She seems so sweet. Blissfully ignorant. Alright, this story's called Kevin Poops Himself and Decides to Share. I was a shift manager at a fast food restaurant in the southern US. Some of the things I saw will stay with me forever, but Kevin was one of the most memorable. Kevin had drank kerosene as a child and was a little slow. Good guy, but dumb as rocks. He had no filter and everyone messed with him. He was a good sport and we were all pretty close. One night, Kevin comes up to me looking extremely uncomfortable. The conversation goes as follows. Kevin, very quietly, "I need to go home and change my underwear." Me, shocked and completely understanding exactly what had happened. "Okay, I don't need any more information. Just go to lunch and do what you need to do. You're good, just go." Kevin continuing to whisper, "I crapped my pants." Horrified, but trying really hard not to laugh, I said I didn't want to know. "What the hell, man? I didn't want you to think I was lying." Me with my head in my hands. "It's fine. Just go take care of yourself." Kevin left and I went to the management office and laughed so hard I threw up. Is that a thing? I told everyone because I'm a bad person and we all had a good laugh. Kevin got back and we got back to work. Oh my god. That's adorable. Concerning, but adorable. Alright, Ski, this story is called My Roommate Doesn't Know How Cats Work, or Nipples. I just moved in with 4 other graduate students and promptly adopted 2 cats. With my roommate's permission and or encouragement, of course. I am the only one who has ever had cats, so the other 4 sometimes ask some questions that are funny to me, a cat connoisseur. But one roommate, Kevin, asks questions that I feel are naive for anyone. And by naive, I mean pretty freaking stupid. The best one I can think of is when Kevin was playing with the kitten, Quark, and petting his tummy. Kevin stops petting the kitten, looks at me very concerned, and says, "Are you sure Quark is a boy? He has nipples." Kevin, you're a boy. Do you have nipples? What a silly goober McGoober pants. Cute story though. Seems like a cool little thing. Having roommates and kittens, and they're like, "Oh, kitten." And then some dude asks you a weird ass question about the cat's nipples.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.